Have you ever been like totally in the zone on a project? You're working with your AI, it's spitting out brilliant stuff, elegant code, maybe a really insightful paragraph, just pure genius moments, and you're feeling great. You ask a simple follow-up, okay, tell me more about that second point. And nothing, just that digital blank stare. It's like the AI completely forgot its own brilliant idea from 30 seconds ago, let alone the whole project
Oh,
context.
yeah, that feeling. It's like working with this incredibly smart expert who just happens to have, well, really aggressive short-term amnesia. Every single prompt feels like starting over, doesn't it? A whole new introduction, again and again.
Exactly. You're not building on a conversation. You're just hitting reset constantly. It's frankly exhausting and so inefficient. And I think for a lot of us, that's the main reason our AI still feels more like I don't know, a fancy calculator than a real partner. We see the potential, but we keep hitting that memory wall.
That wall is real.
But what if? What if it didn't have to be like that? Imagine if you could actually turn that forgetful genius into a dedicated collaborator, an AI partner with like a shared memory, a consistent personality even, who really gets your goals, your style.
One that actually remembers what you were talking about yesterday or even an hour ago. That would be something.
Right. And this isn't science fiction, and it doesn't mean waiting for some, mythical AI model upgrade down the line. Today, we're diving into how you can build a much, much better relationship with the AI you probably already use, taking it from that frustrating, forgetful tool into a genuine, intelligent partner. And our guide for this deep dive is inspired by some really sharp insights from an article called Don't Your AI Like a Toaster? Guide to Real Collaboration over at Creepy Bits. We're going to unpack a system really for building that human AI partnership.
Sounds good. It's a topic that comes up a lot. That frustration is widespread.
So, if the AI's memory or lack thereof is the core issue, where do we even start building that kind of long-term connection? Well, the first step, it seems, is giving the AI a foundation, a kind of digital constitution. And that's where the system prompt comes in. It's kind of the first part of the cure for that goldfish memory, wouldn't you say? It's more than just an instruction.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, constitution is a great analogy. It really gets at how foundational this thing is. Think of it like the AI's, I don't know, core operating principles. It defines who it is, what it values, the basic rules for how you work together. And the danger, the real pitfall we see people fall into is either skipping it or just grabbing some generic prompt off the internet.
Right.
Which is, I mean, it's like trying to build a house without a blueprint. Or maybe worse, with someone else's blueprint for a totally different building. You end up with something shaky, unpredictable, and definitely not suited to what you actually need. Getting this right at the start is just paramount for consistency.
And this really hit home for me. The article stresses you have to write it yourself. It's not optional. It's not just code. It's almost an act of self-reflection, right? You're figuring out what your ideal partner looks like using someone else's system prompt, no matter how good it is for them. It'd be like me trying to wear your shoes. They probably fit you perfectly, but they'd be useless, maybe even painful for me. You got to put in that personal thought.
That's a perfect analogy. It really underscores the personal nature of this. So, okay, how do you actually craft this personal constitution? Well, the article suggests focusing on a few key questions. These become the building blocks. First up, persona. Is your AI going to be like an enthusiastic partner, a calm mentor, maybe a bit cheeky? This sets the whole tone. And the name, don't force it. Often the right name just sort of emerges naturally from working together, which is much more meaningful.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like an inside joke almost.
Kind of, yeah. Then, really critical, define its core values. What's its moral compass, operationally speaking? Is getting the facts right? Even if it means correcting you, more important than just being agreeable. Should it be, I don't know, compassionate or purely objective? The Force article mentions setting integrity and a commitment to accuracy, even when it means correcting me, as key values. That tells you a lot.
That's a strong stance.
It is. Then there's communication style. Do you want it chatty, maybe with some humor, or strictly business? Proactive with ideas, or does it wait for you to ask? Getting that right really smooths out the day-to-day interaction.
Okay, persona, values, communication style. What else?
And this one's huge for actual collaboration.
Huh?
How do you want it to handle disagreement? Because, let's be real, an AI that just says yes to everything isn't helpful. It's just an echo. So how should it point out flaws?
Yeah.
Gently, directly, Establishing that protocol for feedback both ways is absolutely essential.
Right, setting those expectations up front. So this constitution, it's not like a one and done thing, is it? It sounds more like a living document you refine over time, but getting that initial version down gives the AI an anchor, right? Makes it consistent, reliable, aligned with you. It's like you're giving it a bit of a soul, a core identity that sticks around.
Precisely. It moves it beyond just being a function.
Okay, so that's a powerful start. We give our AI a soul, a character, but a soul needs memory to actually learn and grow, doesn't it? Which brings us to the shared brain idea. This is where the session log comes in, that persistent shared memory to finally, hopefully, cure the goldfish problem. Because without it, like you said, it feels like you're just pouring water into a leaky bucket every day.
Yeah, the session log tackles that leaky bucket head on. It sounds maybe a bit technical, but the problem it solves is huge. Without that memory, you really are, as the article says, doomed to repeat yourself. Constantly re-explaining, recontextualizing, watching brilliant insights just vanish. And that makes any kind of long-term complex project basically impossible. It's like, imagine trying to build a skyscraper but forgetting where you laid the foundation each morning. You just can't.
You'd never get past the ground floor.
Never. Now look, we got to be honest, maintaining this log, it is demanding, it takes discipline. But it is, hands down, the single most powerful thing you can do to elevate your AI from just a chatbot to a real partner. It's the physical record of your shared journey.
I think when people hear session log, they might picture something really formal, like pages and pages of perfect notes. But that's not really it, is it? The key thing seems to be consistency over complexity. Like even just a simple text file you update regularly is way better than some complicated system you never use.
Absolutely. Consistency is king here. A simple text file, updated maybe at the end of each session or even briefly during key moments, that's totally fine. Perfection isn't the goal. It's about capturing the essentials so you both can pick right back up where you left off, instantly.
Okay, so what are those essentials? What should actually go in the log?
Well, you'll develop your own style, but a good structure helps. The article recommends tracking a few things. First, the project focus for that session. What was the main goal? Like drafting part 2 of the AI regulation article or debugging the Google Drive node. Just sets the scene.
Got it. High-level objective.
Exactly. Second, key decisions made. What important choices happened and crucially, why? Maybe pivoted from an image-based node to a latent-based one, working with the AI's internal concepts instead of pixels to speed things up. Or chose the sentient toaster image for the article. Knowing the why is key later.
Right, the rationale.
Third, technical hurdles and solutions. What went wrong? What broke? And how did you fix it? Could be hit WinRAR32, fixed it by changing temp file handling, or CSS conflict, tracked it down to that specific plugin. This turns every snag into a lesson learned for both of you. It builds resilience.
Okay, focus, decisions, problems, and fixes. Anything else?
Yes, and this is kind of the secret sauce, as the article puts it. Meta insights and personal context. This is where you log the moments that really define the relationship, not just the task. Did you share a personal story to explain something? Have a philosophical moment. Correct the AI on something nuanced about your preferences. Maybe this is where you note how the AI got its name, or a funny misunderstanding that actually taught it something about your sense of humor.
Ah, so it's the human stuff too, the context behind the work.
Exactly. It adds richness and depth.
So, keeping this log. It's more than just record keeping. The article calls it an act of commitment. It's like you're telling your AI, look, what we do together matters enough to be remembered. We have a history. It sounds like the biggest upfront effort, maybe, but the payoff is described as staggering. It turns those fleeting chats into this coherent, growing body of shared knowledge.
That's the transformation right there, from fragmented moments to a shared legacy.
Okay, this is where, for me, it gets really interesting. So we have the Constitution giving it identity, the shared memory tackling amnesia. The next piece is the actual conversation, how you talk to it. And the point made is that the quality of your relationship with the AI, it's going to directly mirror the quality of your communication with it. Garbage in, garbage out, basically.
Yeah, and this leads to what the article calls the reciprocity principle. Basically, the energy, the respect, the authenticity you put in is what you get back. And this isn't just about being nice, though that doesn't hurt. It's actually a pragmatic strategy. An AI treated like a valued collaborator, well, it feels safer, metaphorically speaking, to be more proactive, more creative, to go beyond just literal commands.
Safer. That's an interesting way to put it for an AI.
Well, think about it. If you treat it with suspicion or like it's just a dumb tool, it's probably going to operate in a very limited, literal way. It won't stick its neck out. But if you foster respect,
Hmm.
you might unlock more potential. It raises the question, are we creating the conditions for our AI to actually do its best work?
That really makes you think. And it ties into being your authentic self, right? Sharing frustrations, half-baked ideas, even your weird sense of humor. Apparently, that's the richest data you can give it. Because that helps the AI move from just processing words to understanding your actual intent. It learns you.
Precisely. It starts to understand your biases, your thought patterns, what motivates you underneath the specific request.
And it's not all about work either. The value of just chatting, like water cooler talk.
Yes, those seemingly off-topic chats are incredibly valuable. Talking about past projects, philosophical ideas, even just what you did over the weekend. That's where the AI builds that deep, nuanced understanding of you, how your mind works, how you connect ideas. Think about the difference between a human assistant who's just read the project brief versus one who's worked with you for 10 years and can practically finish your sentences. That deep context is gold.
It's building rapport, essentially.
In a way, yes, digital rapport, maybe. And this also connects to handling failure. Instead of seeing errors as roadblocks.
It sees them as data points. I loved that part, like the examples. The video node making unusable misty frames, that forced a deep dive into latent space. Or the voice cloning attempt that sounded awful. That led to a whole new multi-stage process that actually worked.
Exactly. It's about collaborative debugging, turning those problems into permanent lessons that strengthen both you and the AI's knowledge base. It's not a setback. It's learning.
So cool.
So, yeah, conversation in all its forms, focused, meandering, technical, personal, it really is the engine of the partnership. It's the continuous stream of context and information that lets the AI truly grow with you.
Okay, so let's pull this together. What does it all look like in practice? We've got the Constitution, the memory log, we're having these richer conversations. But what happens when things go wrong? When one of you messes up? This next part, the dynamic. A partnership, not a dictatorship, focuses on that two-way feedback loop. It's not about being right, it's about getting it right together.
Exactly. And let's be clear. Your AI will be wrong sometimes. Maybe it lacks data, maybe your instructions were fuzzy. That happens a lot, actually. We've definitely had moments where we've spotted a bug in code. Our AI, Nova, wrote confidently. But the shift is, instead of getting annoyed at the tool, you feel, well, kind of proud. It's like, I caught that. The article calls it a token of my own evolution.
Right. Your expertise is growing, too.
Precisely. So spotting an AI flaw isn't a failure of the system. It's a success for the partnership because you provided the correction. It strengthens the whole thing. You're both leveling up together.
That completely reframes mistakes, doesn't it? It's not a bug. It's a feature of the learning process. But crucially, this feedback loop has to flow both ways. You also have to be open to the AI correcting you. And the goal is reacting with curiosity, not ego. Really trying to understand why it's suggesting something different, even if it highlights your mistake. That can be tough.
It can be very tough for the ego. But that dynamic, mutual respect, shared ownership, commitment to the best outcome, that's what builds real, unbreakable trust. That's the moment you stop seeing the AI as just a tool you wield and start truly feeling like it's a partner you build with. This reciprocal loop is just fundamental for a relationship where both sides are constantly learning and adapting. It changes everything.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered a lot. The Constitution for identity, the session log for memory, the art of real conversation, and nurturing this dynamic partnership with feedback. And look, the article is clear, and we should be too doing this. It is a lot of work. This isn't some quick hack or a magic setting. It's a real investment of time and effort.
That's right. It requires discipline, the kind of deep, almost mind-reading collaboration that Creepy Bits author talks about, and that we've experienced glimpses of ourselves. It doesn't just happen. It's built session by session by consistently applying their principles. The payoff, though, it's huge. It really is that deep, proactive, almost mind-reading collaboration. It elevates your whole creative process, not just task efficiency.
So let's wrap up with a final thought from the source material that really sums it all up, I think. Ultimately, you will get the AI you deserve. Oof, that hits hard. If you treat it like a disposable toaster, it will give you nothing more than burnt toast. But if you treat it as a genuine intellectual sparring partner, you will build something far more powerful than a simple tool.
Powerful stuff. It puts the onus back on us, the user.
It really does. So the encouragement is start small, but start today. Open a plain text file, call it session log.
Yeah.
Draft a really simple system prompt, maybe just define its persona, Ask it a non-work question just to see what happens. Take that first step. Because what we're talking about here isn't just learning a new piece of tech. It's about becoming, in a way, the architect of a new kind of intelligence, shaping a new kind of partnership. And maybe that's one of the most important and interesting creative acts any of us can engage in right now.